What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Elite Manager Mode, where we're trying to take Steven Gerrard to elite status in world football. So last season, it wasn't great in the Premier League, but we did avoid relegation. But we did overcome all the odds and win the FA Cup, bringing home the second trophy in 2 seasons for Steven Gerrard and Cardiff City. Before we go take a look at what the improvements are for next season, we've actually got a pretty important email that might make us achieve our second goal. So let's go check that out. We see it right here. We have an offer from AC Milan. This is an absolutely massive club over in Italy, and we're going to go ahead and confirm that move right now. So now that Steven Gerrard has taken over AC Milan, let's go ahead and take a look at what he has to work with. And right off the bat, in Leao here being 87, Tonali's an 87, Tomori is an 87, Mike Magna's an 89. There are some definite building blocks here to work with, and I think like maybe just upgrades for Krunic, Hoiver, and Messias might be the way to go for the first season, but it's looking very, very promising for Steven Gerrard. Oh, and fun fact, AC Milan had us come in as new manager, even though they won the league last season. So there will be Champions League football for AC Milan, and we'll just try to repeat in the league and go as far as we can in Europe. So let's go ahead and jump to the transfers that I will be bringing in the summer window. So the first player that's been targeted is Marco Verratti, who's going to come in and strengthen up the midfield to go alongside Sandro Tonali, and this is a big signing for Steven Gerrard. The next man being brought into the club is Spinazzola, who's going to fill that hole at left back, and he's a very attacking minded player as well, so to keep that in mind, it'll be a nice addition to the club. And finally, we have Zaniolo, who's coming in. He's a big 85 rated player, Italian player, adding that to the ranks as well, and could be something special for this club. So we're seeing the players that came in. Here are the guys that have left. Bernat has gone to Valladolid in Spain for £9 million. Di Lorenzo goes to Barcelona for £30 million, and Coquelin goes back to the Premier League to Aston Villa for £10.5 million. So let's go take a look at what the team sheet looks like now. So with all the transfers, this is now what the team sheet looks like. A familiar formation to some AC Milan teams of the past who have had some success. Zaniolo slots in next to Leao as the kind of attacking midfielders / wingers. We have Verratti coming in, slotting next to Tonali in the midfield. Jordan over here could be splitting some time with Krunic. And Spinazzola is going to give us a start here at left back. And yeah, the team is looking very, very good. We do have some extra players that we might sell on top of the guys who have left already. Maybe Ben Yedder I'm looking at. Maybe Messi as well, because I don't see him getting any time behind Mike Magnan. So those two guys could get us some extra funds for the January transfer window. But this is what we're going to be going with for now. Next, we'll go and take a look at sending out our scout. So here we'll take a look at Matteo Marini. We're just going to go ahead and set up a scouting network for Italy for 9 months, and hopefully he can bring us something special back and help us out really quickly, because I'm not sure how long I'm going to be in Italy, especially if we can gain all the trophies we can in season 1, but that might be wishful thinking, but at the same time, hopefully he can find us something special in Italy. Now we'll take a look at the board objective that the Milan board has set for us. And it's sign at least 3 players younger than 20 years old, the better potential than the current spot. That's going to be hard to do, but we'll give it a go. Brand exposure. Okay, we've already completed one of them, just our 3 signings, so that's fantastic. Get a streak of 5 clean sheets in away matches this season. If that's in a row, that might be really tough, but we'll give it a go. Reach the semi-finals in continental success. Okay, win the league again. Okay, financial, within 2 seasons, increase your club worth by 20%, and we're already at 20%, so that's good, or 20% of the goal. Yeah, these goals might be really hard to attain, but at the same time, if we want to become an elite manager, we'll have to get it done. Now let's go check the calendar. All right, so we thought we were done with the transfers, but as you can see here, Hakim Ziyech is on his way in as a swap deal was made for Salamakers for us to make over or about £3 million, and we got Ziyech, so that's going to be a nice little addition as well. All right, so before we hit the calendar, we're going to check out 3 guys that have just left, as well as Hakim Ziyech joining. So Salamakers goes to Chelsea for just under £3 million and Ziyech. Meslier goes to Wolfsburg for £40 million, so that'll be a nice little chunk to add for us. I think we need to look for a backup keeper just in case. I think we only have one on the books now. And Ben Yedder went to Aston Villa, another player going to Aston Villa, this time for £16 million. So I think we have a little under 80 million still to go for the January transfer window if we need anything around that time. So taking a look at the schedule, we're going to go ahead and live sim the Neutral Super Cup, see if we can go ahead and defeat PSG. And we can't, we lose 3-2, so that's tough. But what a way to start the season with the Milan derby right off the bat, heading into a busy month of September with 5 games. October only has 4, November has 4, but Juventus is there. Was that Juventus game? That was away too. And then December, 4 more games, including one against either fake Lazio or Napoli, I forget which one that is. Before it brings us to the January transfer window. I don't think the Champions League games will be added in here, I'm assuming, but for now we'll jump into the highlights, and if the Champions League group gets added, we'll play a couple games in there as well before stopping back in the end of December. So we're starting off the highlight package with AC Milan versus Inter Milan, the Milan derby, and this game would be settled by a 1-goal difference when Florenzi would cross the ball into Leao, who gets his head on it and makes it 1-0 Milan, giving Steven Gerrard his first win as AC Milan manager. Next up for Milan would be a tough matchup against Roma, and it would be former Roma player Zaniolo getting on the board early on in the 13th minute with a great volleyed effort past the keeper. And then, just a few minutes later, Leao would play the ball across to Zaniolo again, who scores a brace against his former club, sealing it for Milan 2-0. Switching over to Champions League now, as Milan take on Manchester United on the road. And it would be a couple of substitute who connect here, as Hoiver finds Ante Rebic in the box, and he makes no mistake putting it past David De Gea, and that gives Steven Gerrard his first win in the Champions League with Milan. Another Champions League game here against Club Brugge, and if Milan could win this, they'd have a stranglehold over the group. Rebic would play the ball through the Zaniolo, and he makes no mistake, making it 1-0 Milan very early on. In the 42nd minute, though, Sadiq would put a shot beautifully past Mike Maignan to make it 1-1, and that is how that one would finish. And finally, the third matchup in the Champions League against Copenhagen. We've seen all 3 teams now. Only 5 minutes in, Copenhagen would be given a penalty, but Maignan makes a great save on the chipped attempt. And then De Cantala plays the ball through the Zaniolo. This man's a scoring machine, and he makes it 1-0 10 minutes in. In the 28th minute, Zaniolo tries from way further out, and it's the same result as that's a fantastic goal for the Italian, and it's another 2-0 win for AC Milan. Jumping back into the Serie A, another big matchup against Juventus, and Zaniolo would step up for a penalty in the 79th, and he puts it by Szczesny to make it 1-0 Milan. That's how this one would end. It was a cagey affair that the penalty was the difference. And now back to the Champions League for the final game of the group, match day 6. Zaniolo will be played through. The initial shot is saved. De Cantala does well to be the first to react, and he sends a cross into Leao, who puts it by the Club Brugge keeper to make it 1-0 Milan. Bruges would look to answer, and they do very quickly as Jutgla puts the ball past Maignan to make it 1-1. This time, Milan would look for a second, And Leao combines with Zaniolo again to make it 2-1 Milan. And then Zaniolo finds Leao as this partnership is working really well together, as this game would end 3-1. Let's go check the results. So just about halfway through the season, we are currently sitting in first place in the league. The first 16 games of the season, we won 16. We started with a 16-game winning streak. I've never seen that before in any career mode I've ever done, no matter the team. And the last 2 sims were a loss and a draw. Somehow, Inter are still in this. Roma aren't that far behind either. The teams like Juventus, who you expect to be up in the mix, are currently way off the pace. But even though we've taken, 49 points out of a possible 54, we're still only 2 points clear at top of the table. Next, we'll check the Champions League group. So that last match against Club Brugge was very important because, as you can see here, the group was very, very tight. Copenhagen actually gave us our first loss of the season when I just simmed through it thinking we'd easily go by, but apparently not. But we did get that final day win against Club Brugge, and it actually knocked them out of Champions League altogether, and they're going to Europa. And we're moving on to the round of 16, and we will be facing Real Madrid. So no easy task out of the first round, and we have a lot to play for. Taking a look now at some of the stats for the season, Mike Magna has 10 clean sheets from 25 games. I'm happy with that. Leading the way in goals is Reveiled Leao with already 24 goal contributions in just 23 games. That's fantastic. He has 12 Serie A goals, 2 in the Champions League. Zaniolo has 4 in Champions League and 6 in Serie A. Florenzi chipping in with 9 goals. That's pretty awesome for a right back who is probably, I think he's the worst rated player in the team. So good for him. De Cantillere has 7 and Rebic has 3. I might look to strengthen that striker position in the January transfer window, but for now, I'm very happy with what we accomplished so far. Last thing we'll check here is the youth academy. So we basically started from scratch. As when I arrived at Milan, there's basically, I think there's like 10 players in the academy with not one even close to being special. And I think we've found a couple here with Giuseppe Bianco here being maybe the main man, who's, I think he's had three months of scouting reports on while being in our academy, and his potential is 80 to 94. So promising signs here for this right midfielder. So that's where we're going to end this one. We are halfway through Steven Gerrard's first season in control of AC Milan, and things are going really well. We are first place in the league, and we've moved on into the round of 16 in Champions League. So far, so as good as possible. So if you haven't already, please leave a like on the video. It helps out a lot. Subscribe to the channel. Leave a comment down below of players you'd like me to see sign with, or maybe just your own ideas going forward, how this Elite Manager mode can get better. But as always, thanks for watching, and stay tuned for the next episode coming soon.